sweat, pupils shrinking. Don't know what I was thinking. Just felt like I was sinking. This is the fallout. Well, this is what I look like when the lights are broken. Cold sweat, pupils shrinking. Don't know what I was thinking. Just felt like I was sinking. This is the fallout. Biting off the hand that feeds me, staring to the void. I'm screaming, can't find my soul in the debris. This is the fallout. There's a darkness in me that will never let me go. This is the fallout. This is the fallout. This is the fallout. This is the fallout. Cold sweat, pupils shrinking. Don't know what I was thinking. Just felt like I was sinking. This is the fallout. There's a darkness in me that will never let me go. Tell me why are we so blind to see that?
Welcome in everybody for another exciting race brought to you by NOSSCAR, powered by the Redline Racing Network. Today we are doing our season finale at Phoenix Raceway in the ARCA cars. These drivers will have a fixed setup, one faster pair, and only 2 sets of extra tires, so 3 sets altogether. It's going to be a pretty good race today, I got a feeling. Alright, drivers just finished qualifying, so we're going to be here for 110 laps. It looks like Matt Hill's going to take us, lead us to the green here on pole. We're going to have Connor in second place, Carson Nagy in third, Noah Ringwater in fourth, Brandon Brown in fifth, Jason McAuliffe in sixth, Cooper in seventh. Eighth is going to be Casey, ninth will be Rick, 10th is going to be Kyle, 11th will be Mason, 12th will be Thomas, 13th is going to be RJ, 14th is going to be Patrick, 15th will be Tyler, 16th will be Justin, followed by Justin Knapp in that 17th spot. 18th is going to be Tyler, 19th will be Thomas, 20th will be David, and 21st rounding out the field is going to be Blake. Give me a moment here as I'm going to go through the cameras and see what kind of views we got, as I did recently get a camera pack. Be making for a pretty interesting race. As long as we do have a long green flag run here, it's definitely going to come down to who could save the most tire, and it's going to come down to pit strategy, fuel strategy, and tire strategy. I got a feeling. As we are waiting on these drivers to grid up, I want to take a moment to go ahead and shout out our sponsors. We got Team Watson Racing Sets and also Whitehead Speed Wraps. I will say Team Watson Racing Sets definitely have pretty good Xfinity sets and such, and I used to use them myself. These drivers are now gridded and going out to do their formation lap, and we are getting ready to start off this final race of the season with a bang. I got a feeling, and it's going to be a good one here. Gotta watch out for Scuba Steve at Phoenix, Mr. Mettler saying, and he said, I remembered my White Nuts promo. Good to know. Because it looks like the pace car will be in this time, and the number 53 will be leading us to the green. And it looks like the 93 almost went to the inside a little too soon, got back in line. 53 with the decent restart, but the outside line doing a phenomenal job here as they're going into 1 and 2 side by side this time. Looks like Connor in that 4 car might get a better drive off him. He'll take over the lead as we're going down the backstretch, but that number 53 of Matt is definitely not going to give it to him easily here as they're going to dive down in 3 and 4 this time. Still side by side, almost completely out through the field, looking almost 3 wide about for that 5th spot there. As you see, these drivers using every inch of this dog leg to try to get as much of the track cut as possible here, but you got to be careful doing that as it can cause you to spin if you hit it improperly. And we got someone taking the apron route, looking like we're in the truck series here for the championship race, as the 4 is going to take over our lead, and it looks like Matt Hill in that 53 is going to fall back to 2nd currently. The 93 getting a pretty good run here on the outside, trying to decide which lane he wants to go to, as we see the 68 of Brandon Brown trying to get around Cooper Metcalf, I believe that is, or Noah Rainwater. And successfully able to do so as he's side by side with that 29. That 2905 of Noah Rainwater. As you see, Carson Nagy diving really deep into the boot there, trying to get on the inside of the 4, but the 4 is going to have the preferred line and the better drive off coming out of 2 this time, and it's going to let him clear as you see the 53 working the outside of the 93. And they are side by side. It looks like we did have a crash of David Marks Jr. here. Let me go back and see what happened there. Oh, just got a little loose coming out of the turn 4 there, and got into the inside wall and got a tow right quick, so no caution, unfortunately for him. These drivers are doing a phenomenal job, mostly singled out for the most part, but we still have a battle for the 2nd place between the 93 and the 53. That'll be Matt and Carson. As you see, Carson going really down there on the boot and trying to get as much ground made up on that 53, but the 53 is going to have more momentum coming into 1 and 2, and a little bit of a better exit here, I believe, which is going to allow him to stay side by side with that 93 at the moment, as they're going to dive down to 2 and 3 in this time. These drivers are leaving plenty of room for each other and being very respectful as of right now, and we are at the start of lap 7. One interesting thing about this track is you can run the apron here, but it does require at least a bit of skill to do so without losing it. Ooh, looks like we have another crash here. Blake Spears. We'll go back and check that out. That 3 car. Looks like as he was coming out of 2, just gave it a little too many beans and flipped it around. Luckily, he did not bring out a caution, as I believe he might have just jumped the pits here. Oh no. And caution is out this time. As it looks like he might just be sitting on the track. Not quite sure what our race officials will end up doing about that one, but might be having some kind of an issue where he's not able to drive at the moment. So our leader of Connor here doing a phenomenal job up there in that clean air. Clean air is king when it comes to these ARCA cars here. As Carson Nagy held on to a strong 2nd. It looks like we are gonna have the top 5 all but Matt here going into the pits this time. So that's gonna drop them a lot of spots as there's still a good 9 drivers that didn't pit there. So they're gonna have to fight their way back through the field here and try to work their way back towards the front, as you know, they only got 10 laps on their tires. As I'm actually very surprised to see anyone taking tires, as they do only have 2 extra sets of tires at the moment. It's a very interesting decision by some of these drivers here, as you know, if we do have a late caution, they might not have the extra set. So it's going to be Mark Hill and Brandon Brown leading us back to the green whenever they do get doubled up here. And we are currently working about to be lap 12 as we cross the line of 110. These drivers still got quite a ways to go. So it's definitely going to be a very interesting race here, as things will start heating up in the latter half of this race. So I believe Connor in that number 4 car took 4 tires, and I think a couple people might have took 2, and some just went in and topped off on fuel. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this tire strategy does pay off for them if we do have a long green flag run here. And speaking of which, pace car is in this time, but keep in mind they have a long ways to go before they get to the restart zone, and it's going to be Mr. Matt Hill in that 53 leading us back to the green on the inside lane. As they are coming through 3 and 4 this time, right to the restart zone. And green, phenomenal jump by the inside line of the 53. As you see, he's going to dive it down after they cross the line and get out to a tremendous lead. We're going to hop on board with the 68 and watch and see if he's able to get the momentum coming into 1 and 2 this time, as he does have the draft, but the 12 is on the outside fighting back and making it a little hard for him. But it looks like the 68 is going to be able to clear the 12 and fall in line, as they are single filed out for the top at least 5 positions, 6 positions. Ooh, 12 working on the inside of the 68. Going to be able to go down and get a really good run on the boot here. The 68 is going to have more speed going into 1 and 2, but 12 is able to clear and get in front of the 68. Ooh, looks like we had a little someone in the wall back here. I believe that might have been the 05 and no rainwater. Or the 59, I'm not sure. Check. It might have been the full machine there. BT3 doing a wonderful job with that clean air. As you see, the 68 and 12 are still trying to battle for that second place spot, as the 68 is trying to go to the inside of the 12, but the 12 is going to have a better drive off coming out of 2. Using the high lane, which is the line I do like. I do not like running the inside lane on 1 and 2. I do prefer to run a little higher, but it does cost you sometimes. Yeah, it looks like a lot of these drivers are opting to not cut down there on the dog leg. As I said earlier, if you hit it improperly, it can get you very loose. As the 12 does make contact with the wall coming out of 2 this time. 53 out to over a half a second lead to the second and third place at the moment. We're going to take a little time to go back through the field here, check on a couple other drivers as we see the 4 making a pass on this 34-31 machine here on the inside. We're going to go back here to RJ and check and see how he's doing. Let's go to Mason as we see a little bit of a hornet's nest starting to, you know, build up back here as these drivers were looking to go side by side. It looked like they were almost 3 wide there for a moment, but able to get it, you know, cleared back up and single filed back out as we do see, I believe that is the 92 going to the inside of 73 here, trying to make a pass for that 10th place spot. Now he's working on that apron to the inside of the 24, and you see he gets really tight on that apron and comes up, make contact with 24. Luckily 24 was able to save it. Hell of a job by him. Unfortunately, that did cost him, to, you know, a few spots there. He was running inside of the top 10 and drop back to that 13th spot. But we are going to go back up here and check on our leader, who is now up to a second gap to second place. As you can see, the top 10 back or single filed out for the most part, and we are working lap 22 of 110 this time. Whoa, let's go check on the 12 car there. And it looks like we do have another caution. Let's see, we are on board with the 24 of Mason at the moment. Let's take a look and see what happened here. As it looks like they're going into 3 and 4. The 29 gets on his inside, gives him a little bump in his left rear, and unfortunately, looks like another car made contact with him. I'm not quite sure who that was. It's the 15. That'd be the 15 to Justin Lynch. So let's rewind it here, go to the 15's cockpit and see what he was looking at as this wreck develops here. So he's sitting behind the 77. He doesn't see him, and then all of a sudden he's just there and had nowhere to go. He did try his best to get down on the apron and avoid it, and just unfortunate luck there. But we did have another crash. Let's see if we can get back here. Looks like we're on board with the 5 car here. Oh, just another case of nowhere to go, unfortunately, as the 24 did get spun there. So let's go back to the live side of things and take a look and see. It looks like the 53 opted to stay out again. A couple other drivers going down pit road. Get some, possibly some fresh tires or top off on fuel here. And I would love to go over the point situation, but unfortunately, I don't know if I'm able to see the points. There we go. So, slots are off on the pace car this time, and we will be going back green with the start of lap 26 here. So far, only 2 cautions, and these drivers have done a pretty good job of getting single filed out within the first lap or 2. So hopefully we'll continue to see that we can get a pretty good long green flag run here. as that 53 will be leading us back to the green once we do hit the restart zone this time. As you see, you know, these drivers do have to wait till the start finish line to dive down to go onto the boo here, but the 12 going way down into the pit exit and trying to get to the inside of the 53, and he is able to do so, but it does look like he is a little bit loose, and the 53 is going to get a better run coming out of 2 this time, and that is going to allow for him to clear that 12, possibly going into 3 and 4, and it looks like the 12 is going to let off a little early, and that's going to allow for the 92 to get to the outside of the 12. But the 12 is going to have a better run coming out of 3 and 4, and it looks like we have another caution. We're on board with the 24 of Mason. Let's check and see what happened here. I believe he was involved in the last wreck as well. Looks like he got a little loose. 62 got into the back of him. And it's nowhere to go, unfortunately. Oh, that was the last wreck. Hold on a minute here. That would be Connor we need to be on board with in that number 4 machine. My apologies about that. As they are 3 wide, and unfortunately, let's rewind this, slow it down just a hair. Alright, right here. 3 wide, almost 4 wide as we're going into turns 1 and 2, I believe. It looks like the 4 is going to try to come down a little bit. The 29 came up, gone to the back of the 4, which is going to put him into the back of the 73, which in turn causes the 27 to get loose as well. And just unfortunately nowhere for this driver behind him to go in that 29 machine. You see the 31 trying to dive it really low. It looks like everyone else for the most part able to avoid this wreck, but just definitely not what you want to see, you know, especially with this being the final race of the season. It does look like the 53 will come down in the pits this time, and a couple of the drivers to possibly get some tires here. So giving up that lead to Kyle in the 12 car, and it's going to be the 98 of RJ, you know, battling in that 2nd place spot, trying to take over the lead. Alrighty, pace lights are out on the pace car again. This is our 3rd caution, and we're going to try to see if we can get a long green flag run here. The 12 will be leading us back to the green on the inside line, and these drivers will have to make, you know, the long way around and go through 3 and 4 before we get to the restart zone, as this track used to be the opposite. You know, this would be 1 and 2 back in the day, so and they are green, green, green. 12 car is going to get a wonderful jump on the inside line. Looks like the 93 going to be able to follow him through, and the 98 is just fading on that outside line as he did not get a very good restart. Ooh, looks like the 68 might have gone into the back of the 31 just a tad bit there, but no harm, no foul, as that is going to allow the 98 to get a good run on that outside line, but unfortunately 31 came up and got into him a little bit, and they are 3 wide. 2 rows deep here, and it looks like they got to settle it out in the back part, but they're still 3 wide for this 3rd place spot. As you see, the 68 is going to be able to clear the 31 and the 98 this time. Ooh, big checkup. And somebody is around. Gonna go back on board with our leader here, as it is, you know, these 2 have pulled out to almost a full 2nd lead on the entire field here, as they have been battling for that 3rd place really hard. But the 12's doing a wonderful job with that clean air and maintaining the lead. Let's go back and check on this third place, as it does look like the 68 is starting to be able to pull away from the 34 of Spencer. But they are still side by side between the 92 and the 62 here. You know what? That is the 29. My apologies. So the 29 and the 92 side by side coming out of 4 this time. Looks like Noah Rainwater's trying to get in the middle of this and make it 3 wide. As you see, the 92 on the apron is going to slide back up in front of Noah Rainwater and cause him to get loose. And unfortunately, he's going to lose a couple positions there, but good job of not wrecking. We got a battle up here between RJ and I believe that is Brent. Nope, RJ and Rick Spencer, who are currently side by side going through the boot and coming into 1 and 2 this time. Oh, looks like 98 might have got a little loose on the inside there, but it's starting to power back through. And unfortunately, 31 just going to get a better run coming off of 2, which is going to allow for a chance of the 29 of Jason to get to the inside of the 98 of RJ at the moment. Coming into 3 and 4, but it looks like the 98 is going to get a little bit of a better run, so they are going to continue to be side by side, as you do see the 29 cut the boot here. And they are battling very hard for about this 5th place back, as you do see them looking to go 2-3 wide. I'm surprised we haven't seen 4 wide at this point, as they are putting everything on the line really early in this race. But that is just the nature of Phoenix, you know. You got so much room that you could run 3 or 4 wide multiple laps here. Oh, there's a big check up and stack up, and these drivers were able to keep it straight, but that was a very close to being a big one there. See if we can get a little bit of a better view. And it looks like the 68 is starting to reel in the 2 leaders up here and has closed that gap from a second to a half a second. So he is making up a little bit of ground here. We will check back up here with him soon and see if he's able to get around these 2. As we are going to go back here towards his 4th, 5th spot, as this is the best battling we have at the moment. As you do see, they are currently still side by side, about 3 rows deep. All sorts of different strategies here. Is some people did come in and take tires on that last pit stop, and you know that is allowing them. They're wanting to be aggressive and trying to work their way up through the field. And as we see, these drivers are 3 wide going into 3 and 4, and they're gonna have to get this figured out pretty quickly before there is an incident here. But they are doing a very good job of keeping this, you know, straight, caution free so far. As it does look like the 29 and the 53 are going to get a better runoff, and that's going to allow for the 05, who was also in a 29 car, to get to the inside of the 98. I apologize if I'm butchering your numbers and names here, as you know, it's a little hard to keep up with it, and some people are running the same numbers on their paint scheme. It could just be part of my trading paints isn't loading properly here. As that you see the 93 trying to battle for the lead here on the inside of the 12, and the 12 looks really loose coming out of 1 and 2, but was able to get a better run off. But the 93 is not giving up. You see him getting all over the back bumper of that 12 as they come out of 4 this time to cross the line to start the lap of 42. It looks like we did have someone going to pits here. It looks like Kyle. No. SDK is just acting up. But that 93 is making the inside line work and was finally able to get by the 12 of Kyle there. But the 12 is going to be fighting back, cutting the boot really hard as you see him going down towards the pit exit to try to get back to the inside of Carson here. But Carson's going to have the outside in 1 and 2 and get a humongous run off here as you see him already putting 2 to 3 car lengths on the back stretches. 12 does get into the wall, and I believe it's going to allow for the 68 to potentially make a move going into 3 and 4 this time. But the 68 does back it off a little bit and let the 12 get it back straight. Brandon Brown doing a phenomenal job as he has caught up to these leaders and is battling to try to get up here to the lead, but the 12's not giving it to him easy. And we're going to go back here and check for a 4th on back, as it does look like 4th place of Cooper was able to put a little bit of a gap on everybody else as he finally got out of that side-by-side battling. And we're going to look at the 4-car Connor here in 5th place currently, as they are still side-by-side for about the 6th place. But the 53 is going to be able to clear the 29 this time. So they are finally single filed out back here for 5th back. Go a little farther back through the field, check on a couple other drivers. It looks like we got another battle for this 10th place between RJ and Thomas. It'd be the 59 and the 98 here, as the 59 is looking to the inside of the 31 coming out of 4, but just does not have the momentum. And we are going to hop back up to the 2nd place as the 68 is trying to work on the inside of the 12, but just cannot get the run off of the corner. And we're starting to see, you know, a little bit of the tire differences playing out here, as we have had a pretty decent long green flag run, and these cars are definitely getting a little loose or building tight, as, you know, depending on what line you run, you could be potentially burning up your right front here. And I believe the 68 might have burned up a little bit of his stuff trying to catch up to these leaders earlier in this run. And don't look now, but the 92 is starting to catch up to a couple of these guys up here in the front, making his way up through the field. And it looks like most of the field is single filed out at this point. Oh, as I say that, it looks like we have a potential pass for this 6th place spot between Jason and Matt here. Looks like Jason's going to get the inside in 3-4, but Matt's going to get a hell of a drive off. And they are still side by side. Going into 1 and 2 this time. 53 goes for a later break on the inside line here, but is not able to get back to the gas as soon as the 4, so the 4 is going to get a little bit of a better drive off, but it gets into the wall, and that's going to allow for the 53 to get clear, I believe, going to 3 and 4. And as you can see, the 29 is going to follow him through, or try to, as he does get loose on that bottom. The 4 is fighting back on the outside. And we are almost halfway through this race. The 53 of Matt, I believe, took 4 tires on that last stop, so he might be on a little bit of a pressure set, but I think the 4 might have pit as well. And you see them battling very hard, making a little bit of contact, but no harm, no fouls. They do keep it straight. Put it back up here and check, as the 93 is still, you know, our current leader, but the 12 is starting to fight back and gain a little bit of time back on him. But looks like the 68 has fallen back to about a 2nd gap here, which has allowed the 92 to get to the back of him to potentially take over this 3rd place spot. And these drivers are doing a wonderful job, for the season finale here of the ARCA series. As I believe we've only had 3 cautions so far, and we are almost halfway into this race. As you see, the 12 trying everything he can to get to the back bumper of the 93 for this lead. But as I said before, we are going to keep looking through the field, looking for different battles here, as the 92 was able to get around the 68 for that 3rd place spot. I believe he's going to start pulling away from the 68 here. As I really think the 68 might be struggling with his tires just a tad bit, but we'll see how that plays out. As we are on board with the 34 of Rick, as we're watching the 59 behind him trying to get all over his back bumper for about this 9th place. I mean, not a lot of action going on at the moment as everybody is single filed out, but the 34 does get into the wall that time, so the 59 is going to be able to dive it down to his inside, but not going to be able to maintain the grip, and that's going to allow the 77 to get a huge run coming out of 3 and 4 that time and take over for that 9th place or 10th place spot, as you see him working towards the 31 to get around for 9th. We do have a little bit of a battle going on behind them now, as the 73 is looking to pass the 59 for this 11th place spot, but 59 is starting to struggle with a little bit of grip here, but still going to have the outside lane, which will give him a little bit better run. But it looks like 73 might be able to clear him. This is coming down to tire strategy, especially with getting these long green flag runs here, as we're truly getting to see who's able to save their tires. But 73 getting loose coming out of 2, and it's going to allow for the 59 to get back on his outside as they're going to do 3 and 4 this time. These drivers have had about 40 laps since the last caution, and a couple of them did not take tires during the last caution, so that is, worry for tire wear here as we are coming to lap 60. That 93 with his clean air is doing such a wonderful job, as he is starting to put that 12 at a little bit of a deficit here on the gap, and he's almost got a full second on the entire field. Doing a wonderful job, as it does look like we got a battle for the 2nd place between the 92 and the 12, as the 92 is going to be able to clear the 12, and they are going into 3 and 4 this time. Oh, 12, it looks like he's coming to pit this time, as he is very low on the apron. Yes, I believe he is there. Looks like he was able to get into pits with no issues. Thought he might go around there, but he was able to keep control over there. We're going to hop back on board with our 2nd place, and don't look now, but the 4 and the 53 are starting to catch up to everybody. As 68, the 4 and the 53 do have a little bit fresher tires than I believe the 68 does here. So they are going to be able to go a little bit longer before they do have to pit. And it's going to be very interesting to see if that's going to pay off for them towards the end of this race. As things sit right now, our biggest mover of the night is going to be the 77 up 6 positions, currently sitting P9, as you see him trying to work on this 31 still for the P8 position. I will say Cooper and that 92 machine is doing a phenomenal job on this long run here. He has worked his way up through the field and is gaining on our leader currently, but these drivers will have to pit at any time. As the pit window should be open to make it all the way to the end. And as you can see, the 12 who has pit already on these fresh tires is just making light work trying to get his lap back here, as he still has about 7 more cars to pass to get back on the lead lap currently. So the longer these drivers up here wait, I mean, the bigger the gap the 12 is going to be able to get on them here. And these drivers are going to have to start thinking about how long they want to wait and how hard they want to end up pushing to try to get back, you know, around the 12 for potentially the race win here. Looks like these drivers are using every bit of the track that they could get to try to find some grip, as I've seen them running a little bit different lines every corner just to try to find more grip. And that 92, I believe, is starting to feel the dirty air a little bit, as you can see him rotating just a little awkwardly out of 3 and 4 that time. And it looks like we do have a crash, and the yellow flag will be out this time. That is definitely going to change the game plan for a couple of these drivers, as I believe the 12 will still be a lap down here. But we are on board with the 77 to Tyler. And it looks like the 31 just got loose in front of him, and unfortunately 77 did not have time to check up, and that's just going to be a very, very bad day for him. We're going to see who got into him afterwards. Rewind just a little bit here. Looks like they were able to split the 31. I believe that is the 27. Gotta be Hasten at 27 machine. Just unfortunately nowhere to go, as the 77 was sliding up the track. Let's go check and see what's going on here. Looks like a couple drivers checking up to let the pace car around, and ACK's just flagging it as incident there. And I believe we're going to be seeing almost all of these drivers come down pits this time, as the 12 should have got the wave around, as he should be lucky dog, but that is going to put him at the back of the field after he has been near the front the entire time. So he's going to work his way back through the field in the closing 40 laps here and try to get back up there to potentially win. Looks like the 24 machine opts to stay out, taking over our race lead. 70 staying out well, but he is scored a lap down at the moment. 24 going in this time. Maybe he just wanted to wait a little bit longer, change his strategy up, as that is going to allow the 77 to get the free pass here to get back on the lead lap, but unfortunately he will not be able to pit and get a fresh set of tires. And it looks like the 92 Cooper is going to win the race off pit road, followed by the 4 Connor. One of Carson at number 93 and P3, and P3 of Matt and P4. Alrighty, we're going to re-rack them and stack them here, as this is the 4th caution of the day. Pace lights are off on the pace car. These drivers are doing such a wonderful job at getting these laps lined out, but I think the aggression is about to go up a couple notches here, and as we are in the latter half of this race, coming to the end, and I think it's going to be a very good battle. These drivers are going to have to make the long way around the track to get to the restart zone, as the pace car does pull off relatively early here. These drivers are coming to the restart zone. 92 will have the button to go, and he takes it. And that's going to put him out to a pretty commanding lead. But the 4-car, no slouch on that outside as he's able to keep second. But they are side by side for this third place. That's going to be between the 93 of Carson and Matt in that 53 machine. As Matt has got the outside line here, looking to potentially get a better run off of 4-2. But gets into the wall a little bit, which will hinder his momentum as they are still side by side going into 3 and 4 this time. Looks like we still have a little bit of a battle for that 6th and 7th spot between the 29 and 68 as well. And we're getting to view both battles here for the most part, as you do see this 53 trying to work his way around the 93 still on that outside line. Seems like the outside line is the place you want to be tonight, as it has been working well for a lot of these drivers to make up positions. But as I say that, the 93 sends it in really deep into 1 and 2, and it looks like he might be able to clear the 53, but the 53 is going to get a really good run off of 2, and they're back door to door. And that battle for that 6th and 7th spot is settled out, as the 29 is going to be able to get around the 68 of Brandon Brown. And these drivers are battling very hard for this 3rd place spot, neither one wanting to give it an inch. But even though they are side by side, they are keeping up decent pace with their leaders. As you see, the 93 gets a little tight going into 1 and 2, comes up into the 53. No harm, no foul. They both are able to keep it straight. But they are still door to door coming down the backstretch. And now we have a battle for this 5th and 6th spot between Noah Rainwater and Jason. Battling very hard behind them, but it looks like the 29 is going to get a decent run. But that 05 of Noah Rainwater on the outside is fight back very hard. It is throwing me off a little bit. Both of these drivers are currently in a 29 paint scheme. As the battle between the 53 and 93 is finally settled, it looks like the 53 finally got the edge and was able to get it over to that 3rd place spot, as we're going to hop on board with 5th place. And it looks like they've got a single filed out for the most part as well. But it is getting crunch time, as these drivers do not have a lot of laps left, as we're working lap 80 this time out of 110. Got about 30 laps left to go. And I got this cool camera I want to try. It's called Cactus Cam. So we're going to go hop on a random cactus and see what we can see from that point of view. There you go. Oh, it looks like we had a wreck. Let's see what happened here. Oh, looks like the 24 and the 08 made a slight bit of contact there. 77, nowhere to go. It unfortunately gets into the side of 24. 24 is going to hop into the pits, as I believe that might be the end of his day, because he did have to use his faster pit early in this race. But we are going to go back to the live side of things, and we are currently under. So at this point in the race, if you got an extra set of tires, now would be the time to go ahead and take them, unless you think there's going to be another caution before too long. believe the 77 is still in the race, getting a little bit of damage fixed here. It looks like the 27 is probably out for the day. Try to get a better look at this 5 car here, as he looks like he might have used his fast repair and still up in the race here. And 19th back is officially out of the race, so that'd be Blake Spears, David Marks, and Tyler McMurder currently out and loaded up on the hauler. As we are finally re-racked and stacked here, and the pace car should be pulling off this time as the pace lights are off, and these drivers are going to lead us back to green. And with not many laps left, I got a feeling it's going to be exciting. We should be coming back to green with about 27 laps left to go. I'm going to do something a little different here. We're going to hop on board with the 4-car, go into his cockpit view if I can get it time, and I was not able to do so. But the 92 and the 4 getting a really good restart there. 4 still going to be side by side with the 92 on that outside as they're going into 1 and 2 this time. And this is probably the best restart we've seen today from the outside line, as the 4 is going to be able to almost clear the 92 coming off the exit of 2 and should have a better run. And it looks like the 4 is going to be able to take over a lead. But that is going to allow for the 93 of Carson to get to the outside of the 92 of Cooper. Looks like the 92 has fallen back, and that's allowed for the 53 to get to the outside of him this time. But oh, looks like we lost our leader for a minute. A little bit of radio connectivity issues, but the 92 and 53 still battling hard for this 3rd place spot here. As you see, the 53s working that outside really well, and we are 25 to go this time. If you look right behind these two, the 68 is trying to work to the inside of the 29 here. That'd be Jason and Brandon battling it out for that 56 spot. But our main focus is going to be on this 3rd place battle, as the 53 is able to get out in front of the 92, and 92 is now under attack from the 29. And don't look now, Noah Rainwater working on the outside of the 12, diving to the inside of the 68, but unable to get quite on his inside. But the 12 is going to be fighting back on the outside, getting a really good run here coming down the front stretch. And they are currently 3 wide going into 1 and 2 for this 7th place spot. Ooh, 12 making a little bit of contact with the 68, really tight, but they are keeping it straight, and they are having a hell of a battle coming out of 2. Ooh, that was very close, 29, and the 68 kind of pinched the 12 a little bit there. It looks like the 73 is going to dive it in on the 29. Gets into his left rear just a little bit, but it doesn't cause him to spin, and these drivers are using every inch of this track and trying to side draft every bit they can to slow down one another. We're going to go back up here and check on our leaders. Looks like the 93 is starting to pull away from that 4 machine. The 53 all over the back bumper of the 4. And the 92 is starting to come into the picture for this top 4 here. 53 looking to work the outside of the 4. 4 tried to come up and block. Did not get up there in time. That's going to allow for the 53 to get to the outside of them as they're going into 1 and 2 this time. But the 4 is going to get such a good dive in and possibly give him a slide job, but unfortunately unable to do so, as the 53 is going to get a better run coming out of 2 this time, and they are coming down the back stretch. It's a drag race for 2nd place. Sorry about that. I am back, but the 4 and the 53 still battling for the second place spot, but they're not letting that 93 pull away from them, even though they are banging and banging a little bit coming out of these corners. As you can see, the 53 giving the 4 a little bit of a, a shunt coming out of 2 as they're going into 3 and 4 this time. And the 4 was finally able to get clear of the 53, but the 92 looking to the inside of the 53, and the 4 was trying to get to the inside of the 93 here, but the 53 is going to be able to get back around that 92 and potentially looking to get back to the second place spot. And these drivers are giving it everything they got as we are currently sitting 17 to go this time. We're going to go on back through the field here and check on a couple of drivers and see if there's any battling going on back here. Don't want to leave nobody out of the mix here, as it is single filed out for the most part between most of these drivers, and 15 quite a bit of damage. Probably praying for another caution here, but looks like the main battle is going to be between this top 4. And that 4 is finally able to get to the outside of the 93. It looked like 93 tried to block a little bit, but the 53 coming to the inside of the 4 and not giving them any. Ooh, pinching up towards the wall. Looks like 93 came out and blocked the 4, but the 4 is still able to get to the outside. 53 is very loose going into, I believe that is 3 and 4 this time, as the 92 might have given him a little bit of help there. Rewind it right quick and go see what happened to the 53 here. Oh, it looks like the 92 got to the inside of the 53, and 53 did not realize it. Unfortunately got loose, but hell of a save by the 53 there to keep it straight and going. As this 4 car is still working to the outside of our leader, it's going to be between Carson and Connor. These 2 are doing a hell of a job battling for the lead here with 13 to go. And this could be potentially for the race win, as the 4 is going to be able to get clear of the 93 this time, going into 3 and 4. But don't look now. It looks like the 92 of Cooper saying, hey, I wanted the mix, and trying to get to the inside of the 93, which could potentially allow for the 4 to get away here, as he does seem a little bit faster than these 2. And we do have a battle back here for this 4th place spot, as the 53 is trying to work his way back up through the field, trying to get to the inside of the 12, and successfully able to do so, as the 12 does get a better run coming out of 3 and 4, and they are going to 1 and 2 now. It looks like the 12 might be a little tight in the center of the corner. It's going to allow the 53 to get a little bit of a run on them as they come out of 2. That 4 car finally up to some clean air of Connor, and doing such a wonderful job up there with that 93 of Carson is fighting back very hard, as we do have a side-by-side battle back here for this 5th place spot again between the 12 and the 53. 53 working the inside of the 12. 12 is going to get a bit of run off, but the 53 diving it back in 3 and 4. That's going to send the 12 up the track a little bit, as he did have to check up. He gets really close to the wall, and they are still side-by-side going down the front stretches. We're going to cross the line for 9 to go. And there's not a lot of time left for these drivers to gain positions here. Coming crossing for 7 to go this time. 93 looking to get to the inside of the 4. Got really close to this bumper there, but finally able to get to the inside of the 4 and coming out of 2. But I think the 4 might get a little bit of a better drive off here, but the 93 is not holding anything back and is trying everything he can to get back to the lead here. But that is allowing for the 92 of Cooper to get caught up to the back bumper of the 93. As you see, the 4 goes a little wide on the exit here, which allows for the 93 Carson to get back on his inside. So it's going to be Carson and Connor side by side going into 1 and 2. They make a little bit of contact. That's going to cause the 4 to go up the track a little bit. The 4 battling back on that outside, getting the grip down and back around the 93. As you see, the 92 looking to go to the outside of the 93 that time, and unable to do so as the 93 was able to come up and get in front of him. But these drivers are putting everything on the line as we were crossing the line for 5 to go this time. And it does look like we did have a crash here. Let's go take a look and see what happened. Try to do this quickly so we can get back to the live coverage here. We're on board with the 5 of Thomas. It looks like he's just going to get loose. No harm, no fouls. It does look like he's able to get it back straight. And back to the live coverage here as we are 4 to go. 92 working to the inside of the 93, trying to get around here for that second spot, which is allowing for the 4 car to get a pretty decent gap here to the 93. So it's going to be Connor. And it looks like Carson and Cooper are still going to be battling as Cooper does get a pretty good run and is able to get to the outside of Carson here, going into 1 and 2 this time. But Carson able to get a pretty good drive through the center of the corner, but the 92 fighting back. Getting the inside line, going through 3 and 4 this time. And our leader coming up on a little bit of lap traffic here. See if he's able to get on by as we have 2 laps to go this time. And these 2 are battling very hard for the second place spot. It looks like the 15 is just going to let our leader by, and he is now behind the 5. These 2 are door to door as they're trying to work their way around this 15 machine. Oh, we had a wreck. But we're going to continue on the live coverage here. These 2 are still side by side. It looks like Connor is going to be our race winner pending nothing happens to him here as we are on the final lap of the race. But we're going to continue on with this battle here. It looks like the 93 was able to get around the 92. And they are coming through 1 and 2 this time. 92 sending it in really hard, trying to get to the back bumper of the 93. We're going to hop back on board with the 4 here, as all he has to do is coast it through 3 and 4, and he will be our race winner. And Connor in that 4 machine going to bring it home for a dub here at Phoenix Raceway as we try to get on board for second here. It looks like Carson is going to bring it home second, Cooper third. What a hell of an ending to this race. As we're going to take a minute and go back and see what happened here. All right, so it looks like the 4 was going around the 15. Had a really good run coming up behind the 5 here. We're going to continue on. Looks like the 5 is going to loop it around right in front of our race leader. Race leader is able to get around him, and unfortunately have to go on board with our second and third place here. These 2 are battling very hard for that second spot. You know, 15 is just there. He's a little higher, trying to. It looks like he's letting him around, and 93 came off the corner and unfortunately just nowhere to go as he gets into the back of the 15, and that's going to allow for the 92, you know, to get on his inside. But unfortunately 92 had to check up a lot there, and that allows for the 93 to carry momentum out of 3 and 4, and just unfortunate for the 92 there. As you see, the 4 of Connor burning it down at the moment. Definitely well deserved, as he did a phenomenal job there working his way up through the field and getting up to that lead. And right quick, we'll go over our race results. We got Matt And that is not correct. Hold on one. There we go. So we're going to have Connor bring it home first, Carson second, Cooper third, Matt's going to bring it home P4, Jason P5, Kyle's going to bring home P6, Brendan P7, Noah P8, Patrick P9, RJ P10, and 11th is going to be Thomas, 12th will be Justin, 13th is going to be Rick, 14th will be Justin, 15th will be Tyler, 16th will be Mason, 17th will be Case, and 18th is going to be Thomas. 19th will be Blake, 20th will be David, and rounding out the field, which I believe he didn't start the race, will be Tyler there. Let's look and see if we can find some of these drivers for interviews here. And unfortunately, I don't believe I see anybody in the Discord to do an interview, so I believe that'll be the end of our race coverage. And again, this was NOSSCAR presented by Redline Racing Network at Phoenix Raceway, and this is going to be, the end to their season. We hope y'all enjoyed watching this season, as I don't believe they will be having another ARCA season next, going forward. But if you do like what you see, please like and subscribe. And we have many other races across many series, and please check in and watch them as you can. And y'all have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Enjoy your time.